Hello everyone. I've noticed something recently that whenever I join um a public server, I and spawn in my auto aiming creations, that a lot of the times people wonder how to make these auto aiming stuff and ask how to make them. So I thought maybe to do a tutorial on it. So that's what I'm doing right now. And after I do the tutorial, I'm going to show you some examples of what type of things you can build with auto-aiming turrets and stuff. So yeah, let's get into it. The first thing you're going to want to do is obviously press B to enter build mode. Go into blocks if you aren't already. Get a go-kart seat. Or actually, you don't need a seat yet. But, um, go into logic. Get a distance sensor. And copy it to that side. And then make sure it's one block apart from the other one. And then do the same thing here, and then go into mechanic, get a steering hinge, and put one like that on the left side, and then put the other one like this, but make sure the green arrow is facing that way, so it'll bend like that, and then turn the speed to 2, keep the angle on 30, put the steering up to 0, and then go into aerodynamics, get a wedge 1x2, put them at the edges of all of these distance sensors. And for this example, or for this tutorial, I'm going to be using um, large cannons, which is in gadgets, but you can also do this, instead of doing one large cannon, you can do 2 tiny cannons on each one. But 3 or large cannons typically are more destructive on auto-aiming turrets. So after you add those 3 to the top, just copy it to the side, and then put it right there. So those 2 corners are like that. And then copy this. Oops. Okay, then you copy this. And I accidentally did that again. Copy this, rotate it like this, and then put it so the corners are in the correct places, which is almost lined up with that, but not quite. And then there you go. That's that part almost finished. I accidentally made this one a block too tall. There. And now get a grid, go into frame, get a grid block, put grid blocks on every single one of the middle distance sensors on the bottom of them, just like this. And after you've done that, go into stay in frame, get a 2x4, and do that, and then do that, and then get a 2x2x2, put it in the middle, and then can actually, if you want to make it smaller, then you can just use 2 1x2s, and then those are all connected, and then go into logic, and you can either place one right there, or you can replace one of those, but I typically just put one right there, and then connect it to, before you actually connect it to all the hinges, make sure they're facing the correct ways. The green should be the one going like that. Yep, they're all correct. So, and then you just connect the distance sensor over here to all of the hinges, and then spawn it in and see it forms a perfect circle. Then go back into build mode, hold control and double click one of the distance sensors, and then put the distance all the way up to 50 meters, the max you can put it to, and then connect this. So connect the distance sensor to the corresponding large cannon, which should be the one above it. So this distance sensor will be connected to this cannon, this one to this cannon, and this one to this cannon. You probably get it. So I'm just going to completely do this entire circle until all of the cannons are connected to these. And there you go. And now all those are connected, and then you can go into mechanic, get a rotating servo, get a 2x2, set this to toggle, and set it, you can set it to space. I would usually put it on, or you can set it to G, or E, or Q. I usually put it on space if I'm doing a car. And then, since I'm not going to be putting it on a vehicle for this tutorial, I'm also going to connect the distance sensor to over here to the rotating servo, because I'm not going to put a seat on it. But if you actually make a vehicle with one of these on it, you would not connect this distance sensor to that servo. Instead, you would just have the servo binded to space or any of the other controls that you would want. So yeah, and then for this example, I'm just gonna do anchor pins, but obviously if you're making a vehicle, you would attach this to a vehicle, and if you were making a vehicle, you would not need this 2x2x2. And there you go. Now, it automatically shoots at literally anything, and my voice is probably being covered up by all that explosions. And, yep, it's pretty cool and useful for mass destruction. So, now let's get into the examples, which is, the first one I'm going to show you is a tank made by my friend Tony Scal YT. See if I can find it. There it is. And this was inspired off of my auto aimer. If I go into here and read the description, it says, friend Hex gave me the idea, so I'm not stealing from him in any way, just so you know. And there you go, and then press space, and it can auto aim at stuff. But it's kind of sitting a little bit high, so it can't really aim at anything that's there currently. And then this is something I made that I'm going to spawn in next, which is I call it Spinning Death. It's basically just a hovercraft with 2 auto-aiming cannons on it, but this time I used tiny cannons instead of large cannons. As you can see, it's a pretty slow vehicle. I want to make a better one, but as you can see, it actually shoots at stuff and auto-aims, the purpose of it. And then I also have this, another tank, which is right here. This one doesn't use hinges, but it's still a pretty good auto-aimer. It's really low to the ground, so it can shoot the ground sometimes. It's pretty cool. And then I made a prototype type thing of a larger one, that worked pretty well, but I forgot to save it, so I cannot show that in today's video. But, anyways, thank you for watching, and that's how to make a auto aimer in Trailmakers. Bye.